So after the great success for Democrats in Tuesday's elections, I've been thinking a lot about why this shift and how our predictions have been mostly wrong, and certainly that of the polls have been mostly wrong. Democrats got even more evidence that they can win races centered on the national debate over abortion. Abortion rights supporters won the Ohio ballot measure, and the Democratic governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, held onto his office by campaigning on reproductive rights. Former White House aide Gabe Amo became the first black member of Congress from Rhode Island after winning a special election. Democrat Sherelle Parker was elected as Philadelphia's first female mayor. So looking ahead, none of the races were an up or down decision on President Joe Biden or disgraced former President Donald Trump. However, we just need to be thoughtful of the fact that the noise that is often made by the right, the far right, the extreme right, the MAGA Republicans, is everywhere. It consumes us, it surrounds us. They'll take any opportunity to over-dramatize the situation, as we saw earlier in the week with Donald Trump's testimony and then him rewriting the narrative in posts on Truth Social, and with his lawyer, Alina Habba, just rewriting the narrative, presenting an alternative view of events outside of reality. And because of the noise and because of the fake notion of a lot of their argument, it does give the impression that there is more momentum for Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans. Now, I stand corrected, because clearly the majority of the US are thoughtful, quiet, progressive voters who care about people other than themselves. They care about women's rights, women's health care, and abortion rights. And it seems that those people are the ones who went to the ballot box and were not distracted, like I was, by the noise that Donald Trump and his surrogates and his orbit makes as it makes its way around the country. And so we have to ask ourselves, what is America? Because this is something I ask myself quite a lot. And I chose to move here from, another land. And I maintain that the US is still one of the greatest countries to live in the world. And people ask me why, why? All these problems, school shootings, mass shootings, education, fentanyl, homelessness, and not to mention the division, the crazy amounts of political division, that most of which is based on a fallacy and a fantasy, on propaganda and faux outrage and hatred. And actually, in my view, people are not that far apart from just on key issues. And the abortion debate clearly is something that Democrats going into the 2024 general election will be playing on in a more significant way, now that they understand that the majority of the country is behind them on this. Because I think that living with Roe for, a year or two or more, and realizing, especially if you know someone that needs to access abortion and is unable to, or is coming up against a state that has very strict rules, where it is outlawed, where they have to cross state lines to get the care that they need. That feeling or that experience is now permeating through communities, and people are actually starting to realize what life is like without the benefits of Roe v. Wade and that 50-year precedent. And so, turning the clock back 50, 60 years, as has been done with this decision, and Donald Trump owning it. I was the one that got it done. No one else could get it done. I got it done. He's really taking ownership. That idea of him, branding himself the abortion president or the anti-abortion president could be the thing, aside from, 91 charges and 4 indictments, could be the thing that prevents him from having success at the ballot box. And the Democrats would do well to seize on that, as they have in these special elections, and take that forward with their campaigning into next year. And so, the other thing that I think about is how much we give over to Donald Trump. And I've said this recently on one of the other shows that I do, that, to expose Donald Trump for his lies and his gaffes and all this stuff is fine. And it's important, but it also is promoting him inadvertently. It is putting him on the front pages, putting him on the headlines, putting him on YouTube, putting him in the public domain, giving him way more coverage than he deserves. And actually, Joe Biden, who has arguably been probably the most forward-thinking, progressive, and momentous president in history, or certainly recent history, does not get the coverage other than he's too old, he keeps falling over and walks in the wrong direction, none of which affect his presidency. And so, I've made a special effort to decide that really now it's time to talk more about Joe Biden and what he has to offer and what he has done, whether it be forgiving student debt or the CHIPS Act or the infrastructure bill or any of these things that are going to really help America reposition itself on the world stage after all the damage that was done in the previous 4 years. So, what do we want the US to look like? And, for all of us, immigrants, migrants, people who were born here, everybody has a say and everybody has a vote. And with that vote, I suggest that we go forward rather than backwards, and that we make every effort to bring the US back into alignment with the rest of the world, where civility and modernity rule, and the idea of going back to this kind of Christian nationalist and extremist view of America and the rest of the world is so narrow, it's antiquated, and it's not what the public at large want. It might be what the new Speaker of the House wants. And the more we get to know about this guy, the more we realize that very kind of narrow, Christo-fascist lifestyle is not going to play well on the national stage. I'm Anthony Davis. You can hear me every day on the 5-Minute News podcast. Download it wherever you get yours and have me tell you what's happening around the world while you make your morning coffee. You can also catch my videos, my explainer videos, and my weekend show long-form interview program here on the 5-Minute News YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, but also don't forget to join. And by clicking join, from just $2.99 a month, you can become part of the 5-Minute News community. Join me for live Q&As and communicate with me whenever you like as an exclusive member of 5-Minute News.